Hi, welcome to FBA Profits. My name is Leland.
I'm Zubi.
It's like we got nothing to do, right? We're just sort
All
of kicking
right.
back, cracking jokes. You're golfing all the time now. There's just it's slow, right? We're in the
It
first
is.
quarter for retail and Amazon,
Yes,
fulfillment by Amazon, and it's slow, real slow.
it is.
I know
It
somebody who
is.
works in one of the warehouses and they're sending people home on a regular basis because that fulfillment center's not got any shipments some days, which is hard to believe. The grocery side, I heard, is bonkers. Like people are ordering groceries like crazy, but for just regular orders. So if you're doing FBA, should you panic? Should you pivot? Should you sell? Should you run for cover? Go get a day job?
Yes, get out of Amazon and go drop, get rid of all your investment and just go do something else. No, no, no,
Exactly.
no, no.
Well, maybe you should move everything to Walmart now because they're doing this stuff too, right? Forget
Oh
Amazon. There
yeah.
has been. It's over with. They're done for.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
Walmart is definitely a very distant second. So no. But yeah, sales are definitely slow.
Well, this
Sales
is
are
seasonal. This is normal, right? And even in regular retail, right? You come out of the holidays, brick and mortar retail. There, January was. It's we've talked about it. This is one of the podcasts. It becomes the time to ingest the returns. So if you haven't
and
got a lot of returns, you did something right, but it doesn't mean you're going to have sales to replace those returns.
but sales are slow, but they're slow relative to last quarter.
Right.
They're slow relative to the Christmas buying spree. Um, they might not necessarily be slow for the end for the time of the year it is.
Right.
And that's what we've talked about the Q4 hangover, and we've talked about how first quarter is usually a really rough quarter in the sense that you're getting that dopamine rush of getting all those sales, ding 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 on your seller center on your seller app on a regular, but every few minutes you're getting new sales in December and November. But now it's just like it's been an hour and a half and I haven't gotten a sale. It starts, the clouds start coming on and you start feeling depressed and you start, what's going on? Why am I not getting sales? But that's normal. That is it's very important for us to make sure that we gauge whether or not the business is doing well and we're getting sufficient sales, not based on what it was doing last month, or last quarter, but what it was doing last year this time. Year over year sales is a lot more important than quarter over quarter or month over month sales.
Yeah, and we're talking to a lot of people who are new to this, so this might be their first, Q1 where they see this dramatic drop off and not know what's coming, when is it coming. And there are other factors to play it too. I mean, maybe this is a weaker quarter. What you're saying is compare your January 2021 to your January of 2020 or
Yes,
2019. But
I
also
I
there's other factors of what you have in your inventory, right? What did you do? Did you do something different in your strategy going into Q4? And, did you actually prepare for after Q4, or were you just happy to go after those secret end of year items and
yeah. So
only get those?
you won't have sales if you don't have inventory. It's
Yeah.
just it's that simple. And a lot of people January usually, and I haven't figured out how to fix this problem myself, completely. But January usually is one of the slowest months because of the fact that you have so much inventory in Amazon for Q4, and you get so much sales during Q4, and then come end of December, Amazon is holding to a huge chunk of your cash
Mm-hmm.
because of all those sales, and they're not going to release it for 2 weeks, 3 weeks until they know that you're not going to get the returns and that all of that stuff is taken care of. So you don't have nearly as much capital to purchase inventory and resend it in. And when you do get that capital back, it takes a few weeks to get to purchase the inventory and send it in. So January usually is going to be slow. It's not necessarily the slowest month of the year, but it's going to be slow. February is usually
Yes.
2 to 3 days lower, has
Lower.
2 or 3 days lower, yeah, two or
Yeah.
3 days less than
Yeah.
any other month. So you're, just naturally you're going to have less sales because you have less, 2 or 3 days less sales in the books. So it's important not to panic over it. It's important not to keep things into perspective. I've also I've talked to a lot of especially our newer clients, and a lot of them are coming to us from already having tried other coaching platforms and already having tried other strategies. And there's a prevalent strategy out there that some of the coaches are using, or some of the platforms are using, where and it's a safe and secure strategy, but that it basically tells people to go ahead and diversify your catalog as much as possible. So you buy 2 or 3 units of any one inventory and times 100 different items in your inventory. It's a safe strategy, but you're not going to get much sales out of that because when you're only going to get anywhere from 5 to 35% of your inventory is going to have the buy box at any given time. So depending on which ones have the buy box, as soon as yours gets on the buy box, it's going to sell out real fast, and you're not going to get any more sales. And you have to wait for that other 95 products to reach a point where you get the buy box for them.
Also a diversification strategy, whether you're doing inventory on what you're selling or stock, there's a great deal of time that goes into making sure, are you truly diversified? Are these truly distinct? And then being able to manage that. There's a lot of time. You mentioned this, and I'm thinking you budget for this, right? You're going to have, you have a strong end of year. You budget for the weaker months that are coming, but then you also strategize with those dollars too. So you make sure hey, this is what I need to keep things going to pay for inventory lab or the repricer and all of that kind of good stuff, your costs and your expenses. But then also you're preparing for what comes back on, right? And this is where the knowing of going through a February, a March, and an April, knowing as that swings back up, what may be the thing that sparks the sales again for you, as opposed to, well, I don't know. To me, the diversification seems like there's actually going to be more risk because you're managing more touch points. And then if you don't, not everything's going to sell, you're diversified. So there's going to be some things that are counter. Now you have inventory that's sitting there, and now you got to play the game that we've talked about before in previous podcasts, which is the inventory management, the storage fees. Do I pull it back? Do I sell it at these other places? I can't believe that other platforms are relying on that as a strategy for these months.
It's an overall strategy. I don't think that they're relying on it for any specific months. I think they're being very ultra conservative when it comes to their coaching or their suggestion training for new clients. For me, it's I had this discussion recently with one of our new coaching clients. For me, being in this business, there is a certain level of excitement, a certain level of dopamine rush that comes with seeing sales, especially when you're first starting out, especially when you're, you work hard to find the profitable products, you get them and send them in, and they get listed on your account, and then you start getting some sales, and it pumps you up, it motivates you, you want that momentum, that motivation momentum to continue. If you have 3 units of 100 different SKUs, there will never be that momentum, or it's not likely that you're going to continue having that momentum, because you're going to have sales of 6 items or 10 items one day, and then 3 days of no sales. That is extremely dissuading. It causes you to lose faith in yourself and lose that amazing feeling of, hey, this is amazing, this is great, I'm going to keep going, and the motivation that comes with it, the joy, the happiness that comes with it, and the rush that comes with it, where you're just you want to spend whatever available minutes you have in the day working on your business, because you're seeing the results immediately. Whereas, so if you have 2 or 3 units of a bunch of different products, and you get some sales today, and then there's no sales for a week, there are better things to do. You lose that factor. So our coaching strategy has always been, and I think we've talked about this. recommend at least between 12 to 20 units at a time. We are huge proponents of the flywheel approach, where you want to make sure that you have inventory that in your Amazon account, inventory that is being distributed in different FCs on Amazon, inventory in the prep center, and inventory that you have ordered. And on each of those pegs, as long as the inventory is selling on Amazon, you want to have inventory in each of those pegs or each of those flywheel areas. So it's important that, and for us, that makes sense because of years of experience, and we've seen that when you find a really profitable product, it's not going to last forever. Amazon, I mean, there are hundreds of software programs out there scraping every single ASIN on Amazon. And eventually people are going to find this product and they're going to start buying it. And the more sellers, the lower the price comes until it's no longer profitable. So while you have access to it and while it's profitable, you want to maximize that return. And then as soon as you see that somebody came in under you and it's no longer profitable, then you turn off the spigot on the buy side. You no longer order anymore, and you wait. All of these products go and hit your inventory, and they're there. Now it becomes a long tail inventory, and it sits there waiting until whoever undercut you is done, and the price comes back up. And once it comes back up and starts selling for you again, you turn on the spigot again and start the whole process one more time. So the point here being that there are many different factors why sales might be slow. One is just a perception where you're comparing it to a time of the year where it was just amazing. And now we're back to reality. It could be the fact that there's certain months that are just, they have less days. It could be that you don't have enough inventory in there because you didn't have enough capital, because Amazon kept a lot of your money from your sales in Q4. And it could be that you have diversified too widely, you're too thin on all of your products. So, and there's, I'm sure, 100 other reasons that it could be, but sales are not necessarily slow this month compared to this month last year. And that's how you need to look at it. If you see that January 2020 was, you had sales of X, and January 2021, your sales is 50% of X, then there's an issue. Then you have to dig deep and find out why are you only having half as, your sales dropped by 50%. On that point, March is probably going to be that. It's probably going to be, at least for us, I'm estimating that March, my sales are going to be year over year, from March of last year to March of this year, 70 to 80% less, because March of last year was insane. It was the most sales I've ever had for any given month was in March of last year because of COVID.
Yeah, special circumstances due to the world. Yeah.
Exactly. So I'm not expecting to even come close to what I did in sales in March of last year this year, but I have a projection based on 2 years ago, what we did. So, it's good to have those projections. It's good to have that number in your head to make sure that, or on paper, to make sure that you're matching it accurately. And if there's outliers like last March and last April, those outliers, you should set them aside. Don't compare them to your current data.
Yep. And it's good to remind those who are new to this process that if this is your first December, January, March, take note of it, survive it, get through it, and then remember it as we get into October, November, that in 30, 60, 90 days, you'll want to know what those numbers were and what are you doing that worked last time well, and what can you do differently this time through that period of time. And I'm glad we brought this up. I appreciate the extra details on the flywheel approach versus being diversified. I think that was a bonus aspect of us sitting down and talking. So that's awesome.
It's something that we talk to our clients about a lot, but it's definitely good to discuss it on the
secret
videos.
Sauce. You weren't supposed to talk about that. That's it. Just joking. Anything else on not pulling the plug, not running for cover, not burning the boats, and going to war? I think we're good, right?
I think we're good. Yeah.
Thanks, Zubi.
Definitely good.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.